Hi there, this is Dr. Muin Hasib with lesson 2 on the topic of effective communication skills. In lesson 1, we cover the following. What is the definition of effective communication? Why is communication important? What are the different types of communication? What is the communication process? How do you improve your communication process or skills? And in lesson 2, and this is the last lesson about this topic, we'll talk about what are the barriers to effective communication and how can you overcome them. We'll talk about effective communication, how do you rate, and a subject summary. So let's start with lesson 2. What are the barriers to effective communication and how can you overcome them? First, what are barriers? Barriers are obstacles that keep us from consistently acting on what we know. Barriers can prevent written and oral communication from being accurately received. Identifying possible barriers before communicating can help avoid misunderstandings. There is about 40 to 60% loss of meaning in the transmission of messages from sender to receiver. People in organizations typically spend over 75% of their time in an interpersonal situation. What are the barriers to effective communication and how you can overcome them? I'm going to tell you about the barrier and I'm going to tell you about the solution for it. Okay. So the first one is difficulty with language or ambiguity. The barrier in that receiver may not understand technical terms, slang used, or a person may not speak or has difficulty reading and writing in the language you are speaking in, say English, Arabic, Chinese, whatever it is. So what is the solution for that? Use of simple language. Words do not have meanings. People do. Use of simple and clear words should be emphasized all the time. Every ambiguous word needs to be clarified before making a response to it. So even if you are the receiver, if you understand something, you need to clarify it before you respond. Explain any technical language and avoid slangs at all the time. Use professional language. Always check the employee's understanding by asking open questions that require them to give a more detailed response than a simple yes or no. Explain to me. Tell me. Okay? Like that. Summarize to me. Working knowledge of an additional language can be helpful. Okay, so if you know 2 languages, and the receiver does not understand the main language, then they understand the other language, so you can speak to them with that in that language. Next barrier is stereotyping, and we have a lot of that. Okay, it is so easy to take a few bytes or a few little information about a person and then jump to some huge generalization or conclusion about their entire character and the character of everyone else like them, without validating that they in fact have these characteristics. Usually, and I always say this, I treat people as individuals, not as a group. Okay? I treat people as individuals, not as a group. Your performance determines to me how I'm gonna be dealing with you. if somebody's working for me or under my directorship. So what is the solution for stereotyping? Avoid making any assumptions about about what anybody until you have spent time getting to know them. Okay? Remind yourself that you don't have to like them or even agree with everything they say. All you have to do is give their comments a fair hearing to see if you can learn anything from what they are saying. Next barrier is wrong method and wrong time. Okay, like poorly scheduled, rushed, long or interrupted meetings, attempting to squeeze too much information into a single meeting, communicating with someone when they are hungry, thirsty, cold, hot, tired, and or at the end of the shift. Okay, what is the solution for that? Consider the age, experience, and competency of the employee or the person when choosing communication method. You need to come to everybody at their level. If he's young, different than when he's older. Okay, you need to speak to them or get to them from their door. Don't come to them from the window or the ceiling or underground. Everybody has a door. You have to come through the door to get to them. Rather than long lectures, try breaking information into smaller sections and introducing it in stages. Try to talk to the person after they return from breaks, not when they are likely to be tired, hungry, or thirsty. Schedule regular meetings time and let employees know well in advance when and where they will occur. Schedule meetings. Don't say, I need you now. Okay, say, I want to see you tomorrow or today. Say, if it's morning, I will see you in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. And so things like that. It's better to schedule. Unless, of course, something is urgent, something is that. Perceptual barriers. We are all see the world differently. We see the world differently through our own eyes. Okay, so the solution for that, recognize that we have different values and try to recognize where the person is speaking from. Okay, put yourself in their shoes. Get their point, understand their view. Okay, remind yourself there is always more than one way to look at things. Try to understand how the other person sees the situation you are talking about. Try to come to a meeting of the minds. Try to come what I call to a win-win situation. They win, you win. No losers. Next, proper media or channel selection. We talked about that. You need to select the medium, the right medium for communication. Okay. When you want something from somebody, it's better to meet with them in person. Okay, and ask them about that instead of just sending an email. Usually, when we send email, because we don't see each other, we don't look at each other. Okay. We tend to be harsh, we tend to be rough. Instead, when we are sitting in front of each other, we look into each other's eyes, we see how the other person is feeling, and then we become softer, we become more lean. Okay? So simple and sensitive messages should be conveyed orally, face to face. Okay? Not on using the email. Use written communication for complex messages, memos, emails. Next, defensiveness, and we have a lot of it, especially in the Middle East. Okay, There are two sides to every situation, my side and the wrong side. Some people say that. One or both of you won't hear everything that is said, or you may inject things that were never said. I mean, you say something, and then that to somebody, and that somebody go and say it to somebody else, and that somebody else come back with you with the same message. You said this, that. No, I did not say that. I did not say it this way. This is not what I said. So, what is the solution for that? First, if we want to define defensiveness, is a typical barrier in a work situation, especially when negative information or criticism is involved. So the solution is check yourself. If you feel yourself getting defensive, stop. Stop. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't respond too quickly. Like if you get an email that is upsetting you, okay? Stop. Don't respond right away. Cool down, okay? Read it again and write your response and don't send it. Then look at your response again before you send it. Read it again, okay? Because I'm sure you will change something in it. So if you feel yourself getting defensive, stop. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't respond too quickly. Check to see if you really understand what the other person is saying. Learn to say things tactfully so the other person does not get defensive. Learn to be considerate when you are talking or speaking so you don't hurt others unnecessarily. Not listening. Somebody's talking, and I look like I'm listening, but actually I am preparing an answer for what they're saying. So not stopping and listening to questions, comments, or concerns. Solution for that, you should stop what you are doing, look and listen to what they are saying. Active listening. You need to practice active listening. Listen attentively and carefully. Physical distraction. Noise, temperature, air quality, location, physical barriers like traffic, loud noise, walls. Okay? The solution for this barrier, minimize noise and distractions, schedule meeting and make sure environment is comfortable to listen and learn. Try to use face-to-face communication frequently. Lack of feedback. That's another barrier. Not offering an employee positive, constructive feedback means that they won't have any idea how well or how safely they are working. Okay? The solution for that, providing positive and constructive feedback to an employee shows them how well they are meeting your expectation. Avoid waiting until things go wrong or serious mistakes have been made before letting them know how their performance is going on. Okay? Really, this is very, very important for the supervisors, for the seniors, for the managers who are doing evaluation on their staff or the people under them. Okay? Don't wait till the end of the year or the anniversary to tell them on this day and this day and that day you did this, you did that. Don't do that, okay? Because how are they gonna remember if they did that on this day or that day a year ago or 9 months ago, okay? Give timely feedback, okay? Give timely feedback because they might have an explanation for it. Also, if they are doing something wrong, you want to really wait till the end, their anniversary or the end of the year to tell them about it, and you want to keep them doing the wrong stuff. That's not right. Okay. So always let an employee know what you want them to do and how that should happen rather than simply telling them what they should not do or criticizing them. Timely, timely feedback, timely feedback. Culture differences. And this is happens a lot in countries or in areas where they have people from different countries, different from people culture, languages, habits. Okay, different in cultures and traditions lead to misunderstanding and differences. The solution is to treat people from other culture, their value and belief with respect. Treat everybody with respect. Okay? Do not include terms or references which are exclusively related to a specific culture. The bottom line, treat everybody with respect. Effective communication, how do you rate? Now, I'm gonna check your communication effectiveness by answering yes or no to the following questions. Then I'm gonna tell you how you rate based on how many yeses and based on how many no's. So take a piece of paper, and for each question I'm gonna ask you, just put yes or no. Write number 1, yes or no. Number 2, yes or no. 3, 4, okay, till the end. So, do you have a communication strategy that guides all your communication activities? Yes or no? Do you know exactly what you want employees to understand, think, and do in response to your communication? Yes or no? Is your message consistently aligned with the vision, values, and objectives of your organization? Is your communication a two-way process? Do you measure the effectiveness of your communication? Yes or no? Do you see the result of feedback to adjust future communication initiatives to improve effectiveness? Yes or no? Does your communication process always include the right message, sent using the right channel, and sent to the right receiver? Yes or no? So, do you know how employees prefer to receive communication? Face-to-face, email, okay, meetings, one-on-one, okay? Have you delegated the responsibility for communication to your staff? Is your team delivering a consistent message? Yes or no? Okay. Does your team understand its role as communicators in your organization? Now, how do you rate? If you answered yes to 7 or more of these questions, congratulations. You stand out in the crowd. Your communication should be delivering value to your organization. If you answered yes 4 to 6 questions, you are on the way. You are getting there. The questions to which you answer no will help you to identify where you could improve the effectiveness of your internal communication. If you answered yes to 4 or less, your internal communication is not affected and needs to be improved using these 2 lessons that I just did for you. So, really, your success depends on your communication effectiveness. Don't leave your communication skill to chance. The more you improve, the better off you will be in every other area of your life. Decide today what you are going to become: a better, more effective communicator. Summary. Like we said, the purpose of communication is either to transfer information and or call to action. A leader is not a leader if he or she cannot communicate. The most important skill a leader must possess is good communication skills. Communication occupies 70 to 90% of leaders' time every day. Good communication skills promote sharing of mutual goals and create the understanding and trust necessary to encourage others to follow a leader, to follow you. Without effective communication, a leader accomplishes little. Without effective communication, a leader is not an effective leader. Communication can be broadly classified as verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication can be classified into written and oral communication. Non-verbal communication, like the name, you are delivering a message without even saying a word, okay, like a body language. When we are communicating with each other face to face, 55% of what we learn from others come from our body language, 38% from the tone of our voice, and 70% from the word we say. When we are on the phone, our tone of voice is 86% of what we learn from others and only 14% what we say. A good leader adapts his communication style depending on his audience, then adjusts his communication style based on what the audience need and or what the leader wants them to react to meet the goal of the communication. A group of people or a person, everybody has a door to get into the door, to get to them. Use the door, don't use the window, don't use the ceiling. Don't dig a hole under the ground. Know what's their door, what's her or his or their door. Go to them from that door, okay? Everybody has a door. Barriers can prevent written and oral communication from being accurately received. Identifying possible barriers before communicating can help avoid misunderstanding. Your success depends on your communication effectiveness. Don't leave your communication skills to chance. The more you improve, the better off you will be in every other area of your life. I am done with the topic effective communication skills. For the next subject, please go to how to provide exceptional customer service, which is another very important topic for everybody, especially the frontliners, the managers, the directors, the supervisors, and all those who are in leadership position. Thank you very much for watching.